Morning people, welcome back to F Politics. Have you ever been racially abused by a member of the Order of the British Empire, somebody who's a couple of steps down from being knighted by the king? Well, I have, because last night Nick Buckley MBE replied to me saying that nobody does tribalism like black Africans. The implication being that the word tribe is most commonly linked to ancient and therefore primitive African communities that went to war with each other. And just to make sure that none of you stay in denial, if you wanted to make that point, he could have just said African. He chose to say black Africans. This is clearly a racist man. Now again, I'll be as fair as I possibly can and give you the full context. He was responding to me calling all Reform Party supporters putrid scum, diseased skid marks on the toilet bowl of human society. So some of you might think that I deserve to be racially abused for that, but let's drill into that for a second, because I was calling them putrid scum, diseased skid marks on the toilet bowl of human society because of their support for the Reform Party, specifically because the leaders of the Reform Party spurred on the riots this summer that led to black and Asian people being hunted in the streets, and that since then the leaders of the Reform Party are still defending the organizers of those riots. So anybody who supports the Reform Party is knowingly supporting racism. So I find it interesting that Nick Buckley's way of refuting me to prove that I'm being unreasonable was to be racist back to me. And for a bit of context on who Nick Buckley is, here he is opening the Reform Party's 2021 party conference. And Nick Buckley was the Reform Party's official candidate for Mayor of Manchester. So this is somebody who has held significant roles within the leadership of the Reform Party. And last night he was abusing me as a black person and former LBC journalist Sangeeta Maiska as a brown person. That's who the Reform Party is, and it's important to remember that it's not like Nick Buckley was silent on racial issues before they made him their candidate for Mayor of Manchester. Because back in 2020, he was saying all the same things about Black Lives Matter that Nigel Farage has always said. Instead of recognizing it as a global movement for racial equality, he was calling it a Marxist organization, questioning the LGBT status of its organizers. And as Nick Buckley is showing us now, these kind of things are said by people who are just covering up the fact that they are just total racists. And to accuse me of being tribal for condemning the party who I hold responsible for turning communities against each other in the riots this summer, you know, like warring tribes, while being a member of that party, a party whose entire identity is based on nationalism, you know, my tribe is more important than your tribe, with his pinned tweet promoting his book, England, My England, the greatest country to ever exist, I thought that level of hypocrisy had to be medically induced. Now you're obviously wondering, how does somebody like that get an MBE? Well, obviously he was given it by the Tories, but he was given it for his fight against homelessness and antisocial behaviour in Manchester. And this is an important part about racism, because racists believe they're good people. They just have a narrow view about who's supposed to benefit from their goodness. They'll fight against poverty, they'll stand up for working class issues, but if it looks like ethnic minority people might be rising to the point of near equality, then they'll have an issue, as we saw with how he approached Black Lives Matter. Now, Nick Buckley is no longer technically with the Reform Party. He stood as an independent recently, but he still regularly praises them, and I couldn't find any evidence that his racist views were the reason why he left. But as I said in the video that he was responding to, we are past letting people pretend that they don't know what the Reform Party is all about, that it's just some coincidence they just happen to keep hiring racist and domestic abusers. And before I go, I should thank people like Sangeeta Maiska and Marina Perkis for encouraging people to complain to the Cabinet Office that one of the members of the Order of the British Empire is being overtly racist online. I'm Femi. Make sure you follow F Politics so politics doesn't F you. Have a great week.